All right, we'll call the meeting to order at 1 p.m. The town of Smoky Lake respectfully acknowledges that we are situated on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional lands of First Nations and Indian people. We'll start with the agenda. Are there any additions or deletions?
None for me.
Marianne?
I don't have any additions. I just have two questions. So we had two motions from the previous meeting that there was two things that were going to come back to this meeting, and I didn't see them in the agenda package, so just looking for clarification from admin. One being the Warspite Fair and the Pumpkin Growers delegation.
Carly?
So Warspite did not get back to me as of yet. They got back to me this morning with information, so that'll. Oh, I guess I could add it, if I want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the pumpkin growers, wanted to reschedule the June 2nd as a delegation.
So we'll put 13.1 works right there.
Yeah.
Thank you. So at this,
That goes over here.
yeah.
Good.
So I can move to accept the agenda with the amendments to 13.1, the addition of the pumpkin, first annual Warspite Country Fair, as presented.
All in favor? Any opposed? Here none, so we'll carry, that'll be carried. All right, and then we'll move to the adoption of previous minutes and action lists. So 3.1, Mel?
Make motion to approve the April 17th, 2025 CEO recruitment regular council meeting minutes as presented.
All in favor? And then opposed, so carried. Yeah, welcome. Come in. Have a seat. You can sit there. Yes,
good.
Yeah. That's perfect. All right, we'll move to 3.2, April 17th, CAO recruitment regular council meeting action. Marianne?
I'd like to move that the Town of Smoky Lake Council approve the April 17th, 2025 CAO recruitment regular council meeting action list as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And 3.3, April 28th, 2025 regular council meeting minutes. Mel?
Make a motion to approve the April 28th regular council meetings as presented.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And 3.4, April 20th, 2025 regular council meeting action list. Marianne?
I'd like to move that the Town of Smoky Lake Council approve the April 28th, 2025 regular council meeting action list as presented.
Favor? None opposed, so carried. All right, so we'll move on to our delegations. So we'll have you guys introduce yourself quickly. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Leo Chapdelaine, manager of the golf course.
All right,
Bruce Chern, president of the golf course.
okay, Amy Cherniton, Mayor of Smoky Lake.
Marianne Prosky-Zaruski.
Hi.
Melody Morgan.
Carly Barchowski.
All female group now. Eh?
Yeah.
Nice, nice.
So the floor is yours. Do you guys wanna about the golf course?
Sure. What we're here for is two things. Number one is we'd like to get a funding grant or a grant if possible. The reason for that is we have to replace our rooftop AC unit. It died. And without air conditioning, it's pretty hard to run a kitchen there, let alone the golf course itself.
Okay.
And we don't have a budget for it, number one. And also, second thing was for our youth water bill that we had last fall. Due to a water break, I guess, but whatever, it took a long time to find it, and you know, his name was out a couple of times, John, and we finally found it now, so I think our water is down now for this month compared to what it was before, which is good.
Seems to be normal.
And
No, I'm good with that, just, just to reiterate what Leo said.
another thing too is with the golf course, we've been here since 1978. Before we're in 1980, we've never ever approached the town or anything for any funding, and things are getting tougher now. Wages are higher and it's harder to get employees and costs are goes sky high.
And our equipment we have to replace equipment as needed, just like everywhere else.
Is there an amount that you're looking at? Is there?
For the AC unit, the top unit is probably looking at about 25,000. We haven't got a firm final price on it. And then, of course, the water bill, I think you guys got all that.
Yes.
Yeah. Somewhere around 18,000.
Yeah.
What was that over the course of 4 months?
4 months, yes. The thing is, what it was is our accountant used to pay the bills and we never ever thought of those, and we had no idea that our water bill was running $4,600 a month. We only found out once we got a new accountant with his LJ, and then all of a sudden, whoa, what is this? But, and I don't know why, I mean, like even from the town, that not even questioning us why this happened or why you guys using so much water all of a sudden, yeah.
That's a tough one. Mel?
Yeah. I'll be honest. You guys open one water bill, right? You guys open one water bill,
Yeah.
right? We have quite a few water bills.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys are seasonal, so it is something that is hard to track. I still think the golf course is an asset to our community, and I think it's important for us to support that. How long, that was gonna be my question, how long do we know it went on without knowing about the water leak?
How long?
4 months.
4 months.
4 months without knowing about it?
Yeah,
Okay, that was what I was curious.
What was happening, apparently the water was running along down the concrete into the ground and we'd never seen no seepage or nothing. We thought it
Water's
was,
tricky that
we
way.
thought it was running down towards where we were supplying water for the rodeo grounds and couldn't find anything there and just.
there's no warning signs,
No.
yeah. Yeah, we're surprised, we're not pleasantly surprised. When number one, the bill was just being paid and we weren't notified, and then we weren't notified from any direction.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Marianne? You're- Yeah, no, the golf course is a great asset to our community, and
I appreciate it.
we'll be discussing it after a little bit later in the agenda
Mhm.
and in like there's what to decide and stuff, but yeah, definitely. Mel?
I said one more thing.
Yeah.
Did you have, so you plan on doing the HVAC, the rooftop one this season? Like, is that the goal?
The AC unit,
Yeah,
we have to do it this year.
Yeah.
It's not working at all, in the clubhouse or the kitchen part.
Yeah, and it gets super hot in there. If it's 30 outside, it'll be 40 in there.
yeah, you can't work in that.
No.
No.
that's good.
Well, I went to your Mother's Day brunch, it was lovely.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Enjoyed
I enjoyed it very much.
it? Thanks for coming.
I did find my questions, so thank you for taking the time to come to council today. So your specific ask is for a grant
Mhm.
or a one-time funding
Right?
request. And so we had a chance to look at the agreement in our agenda package and that you're governed by the Societies Act.
Yes.
And so your corporate annual return is all up to date and you're still operating as a society. So it's a nonprofit
Correct.
organization.
Yes.
Good, just to confirm that. And then approximately how many members do you have this year?
Members? We're sitting around 125 members, not counting corporate members, and then we'll also have, every member has a spousal membership but in total, we're probably, if you count everyone, we're probably sitting around 247 right now. Yeah.
Great.
And with with being a nonprofit society, everything that we take in goes back into the clubhouse. Whether it's for maintenance or for wages and whatever else. And with the funding that's coming in, is it just that it's running low. And we're keeping our rates low for members, for people from both like that.
Yeah.
Like we're probably the cheapest around except for Vilna, but there's no comparison between courses and stuff like that, so.
And I-
$7.99 a year is very cheap for membership of developers.
Absolutely. I echo what has been said by the previous members of council, and I too think it's an added resource to our community. My father long ago volunteered when it was just the original clubhouse before the addition, so yes, I'm very proud to have it in the community and it's an asset.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we do about 10,000 rounds a year. And out of that, we bring people from all over Alberta and even Western Canada.
So huge thank you to the volunteer board that supports it and governs it as well.
Yeah,
Perfect.
see the old hangar there, that's Mary Ann's dad's hangar.
What was this?
Maybe there's a special place in our heart.
That. So we have sitting in there right now, we're raffling off, so we're trying to raise money through raffling off cars, plus we raffle off
Great.
clubs and we're doing whatever we can to, but everywhere you go, there's raffles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Just back a little bit. During COVID, well, we all know what happened. They shut down everything, and then golf was one of the few things that could happen. And then so golf kind of took off everywhere, and all the city and surrounding area of the cities got really busy with golf. And that's where we found a real expansion of people that came out.
Mhm.
And when they came out and they seen how beautiful it was, because as you enter the rodeo grounds, or you don't see the beauty of it.
No.
And as soon as you get over that hill, it's like an oasis. And a lot of those people still come very regular now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which was great,
Yeah.
yeah. So,
Well, thank you guys
Thank you, Mo.
for coming.
Taking my time,
And,
appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, we'll be talking about it here soon.
We're not.
All right,
All right,
thank you.
thank you very much.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
I think. Okay, then, yeah, that's all for delegations. So we'll move along to administrative reports, general public hearings. So we'll start with if there's any questions for admin.
I always.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Okay, so, just a really quick question about, the interviews for the summer, are they all filled? Were you able to get enough applications to fill the jobs?
We filled the office position and we filled 2 positions in public works. And I'll get John to speak on the 3rd position.
There'll be a 3rd one starting in June. It'll be staying a little bit later to help us with pumpkin fair.
Okay.
And the sand station hasn't been posted.
How many work at this, is there 2 positions for the same? Yes, because it's kind of a full-time. or-
Yeah, past practice, there's been 2 and then 1 rotates either in the office or public works on the days. Because there's never 2 there at the same time.
I couldn't remember if it was still. Yeah. Mary Ann, any questions?
I do, so mine are for Public Works and thank you, John, for all that you're doing. On page 33 of your report, you indicated that there was some gas meters changed. And I'm just wondering, so we have that project on our capital budget, right? So annually, how many do we do? And then in this report, how many did you change? Are we, where I'm going with this is, are we on track? Are we behind? Are we?
Approximately probably 100 to do. Yeah, we're aiming. I believe. Have to check to see how many they did recently. Probably approximately 10, I'm guessing. I don't know that number for sure.
Maybe for next one. just because we're coming up June, I would say maybe just to make sure we're on track, or if we need extra supports, what that looks like, just. And then I guess, two more questions and then I'm done. They installed the routers at the LED signs. So can we change the messaging now or?
I'm still working on that. I only got a chance to install them. I haven't got a chance to delve into the program and see if I can get everything linked up.
Do you have an estimated time or?
It would depend on my success.
Good words.
For like technology.
Oh, my six.
Yeah, technology, but depends what the problem is.
Yeah. All right.
So then I noticed at the end of the report, it's, you're helping with the dog park. And this is more a question for admin. Do we have anything, that we need to sign off on with the, Lions for moving forward? We have an agreement or the land has been, not the easement, but the, right of way has been finalized and everything.
It's on town land, so it wouldn't have to be any.
We had to, okay, so everything's completed and we're just moving forward. That's.
Mel?
Yeah, I know what you're speaking. There is a land title issue, but that's for that road. It's not on that. But yeah, that still needs to be rectified, finished, but.
Crystal?
I wasn't the one working on this, previous CAO was, but I did have a maintenance agreement kind of question mark to see if maybe we should move forward. So. it's another-
And that's where I'd like to go with all this, and so in reviewing this, and thank you again for the reports. I think we're in a position where we know that a new CAO is coming, and we have some unfinished, agreements that are out there. I'm looking for maybe a status update on some, like, for example, and I can frame it in a motion, but for example, we have the Devonian Park billboard that's going on a year. The daycare, the garbages at Esso. So if it's not too hard for admin, I would frame it in a motion that it could come back to have any outstanding agreements. So I'm gonna, Town of Smoky Lake, if I may make a motion, okay, so the Town of Smoky Lake Council direct administration to provide an updated status report on any outstanding agreements to the June 23rd meeting, which include if there's anything for the Lions Dog Park, the Devonian Park billboard, the Esso garbage cans, the Aspen View land transfer, the daycare, and the most recent one was the Ag Society.
The Egg Society has been executed. I forgot to put that on my report.
Okay, well then, if they could all come back, June, does that give you enough time, June 23rd?
Yeah.
Carly, you had a comment?
I was just saying, the Aspen View one isn't also in progress. We just need to get Aspen View to sign up, but the county and the town had signed up.
And I, thank you for updating us, but, so we don't have any data that says that where we're at. When the former CAO had given us the progress report, there was some things that were outstanding, and now it's been 2 months. I'd just like to circle back before we, again, move on with the new CAO, and just to make sure that we have everything as clear or as close to completed as possible. Or if certain other groups need an extension, it's their opportunity to come to us and say, we need more time.
You're okay with the motion, Carly?
Yep.
Okay. You want her to read the motion? Yeah. All right, all in favor? None opposed? Carried. Mel?
I just had one more question before we continue
Oh,
on
yeah, no, that was just, okay. go
with
ahead.
admin reports.
Yep.
I just saw side by side go by our window. Do we not have a UTV fire ban in town?
I think besides.
They put up new signs in town boundaries? Cause I am, my question would be, is there a sign at the staging area? Okay, that's a loaded question. There's no sign at the staging area. That wasn't fair. Yeah, I don't believe there's a sign unless it just went up, but when the fire ban went on, I don't believe there was a sign. There was 3 trailers the weekend of fire ban and UTV ban, and 3 empty trailers. Those empty trailers unloaded quads or UTVs onto the trail. So if there's one now, then I'm good, but when the fire ban went on, I went and looked and it was not there.
Don't quote me, but I believe they ordered, we only had fire ban signs, we didn't have the ATV, like, wage. The off-highway vehicles.
OJV, yeah, HV.
Juanita directed us to order some and then we just got stuff because we just ordered them.
That day, we need temporary signs.
Okay,
I believe they're up now.
They are, yes, we didn't have them previously.
I don't.
Announced.
well, okay, so now if we have proper signage and we have 2 OHVs running around town on a regular basis. They don't live in town. They got here somehow. Like, what are our recourse? Like, we have communities evacuated because of fires. So I just would really like this enforced a little bit.
It can be enforced.
Yeah, and hopefully the other municipalities have the same in place, because then.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. No,
Do you need a motion or?
so I'll get a motion to accept the reports. That's all the questions. No,
I'll make a motion to accept the administrative reports, please.
all in favor? No opposed, so carried. 7.1 delegation, Smoky Lake Golf Course. No,
I can start. So my feelings are, I guess the gist of it from what I gathered from the letters that we received and they want to put a rooftop AC unit in, so future projects that they're asking for a one-time. I am in favor of supporting the golf course. The number that I had in my mind was $10,000. I just wanted to be clear that I'm not in favor of supporting the golf course due to the water leak. And that is because it sucks that they had a water leak and they spent a lot of money on water. But when residents have a toilet that runs and they spend a lot of money on their water, we hold them accountable. And so I think it's the same situation as for the golf course. They have somebody opening their bills, paying their bills, and that's a paid employee. So they should be noticing those bills as well. So though I feel sorry for them,
yeah,
and I want to support them, I'm supporting them on the basis that they have a bigger project that needs to be done, and I think that we should help them out with that. They are an asset to our community and it does bring tourism, which is part of our strategic plan. Also for the residents, right? It is something that is used regularly. They are trying. They have a steak night coming back. They're trying to bring in some more revenue into it. So I think that we could help with them on a one-time grant. I was hoping to hear too. I'm hoping the county supports them as well, but I haven't heard anything thus far.
Another idea I had was providing them with the one-time grant, but maybe helping them with a loan of some sort. Rather than like providing the grant, but then on top of things, more having to help them with the loan. I don't, Marianne, just.
So I think these are both good ideas. I too support the idea of giving them money. So when I was looking at this in preparation for the meeting, I was wondering if it was doable to create a model similar to the Egg Society where we're taking money maybe out of our recreational budget because last year so we were budgeted a certain amount and we came in under with recreational expenses, $22,000 under what we were budgeted. So I like the idea of the 10,000, but I would rather support a model that is monthly, like we grant to the Egg Society, and maybe the county would come on board and do the same, as opposed to a one-time funding. And the reason why, I think if we went into agreement, we're supporting tourism, our strategic plan, our resources in the community. A one-time grant might have the optics of our other town-owned buildings and groups could come to us and say, you know, the drop-in center, for example, they do a lot of fundraising, but now because you're giving golf course, can you give to the drop-in center? The curling rink has never asked us for anything, but it's setting a precedence. But I think, yes, they have a special project coming and the ask is for like 25,000.
Or, well, that was the cost.
Mhm. Yeah, I think I don't know if I would support the one time, but I'd support over time.
No.
I just have a question for you. Like up to a certain amount, like, so. The reason I am supporting the one time is the curling club did come for a one time. They came and got $24,000. They went to the county as well, and they were coming out of their plant had gone down. So I do support the one-time thing. They've proven to be a viable resource in our community. And I don't think that I don't think they'll need it more than one time. I think they had some oversights in the last year. And this is what they require to get back on top of, plus then having the rooftop unit. So I do think it is a one-time thing and that we could take out of we would have to take out of our reserves. That's kind of where I'm at. I don't know what you mean about the monthly thing. Like, I know we help support the Egg Society. I don't think they're the same. Like, I don't think it's apples to apples.
Oh, I'm not saying, I'm not saying to do $4,000 a month to the, sorry, if I may, to the golf course. I'm just saying, looking at that model and contributing to our recreation in the community, that would best serve the whole region. And maybe that would prompt the county to do the same.
I fear it may open up just like what other, like, because there are other recreational clubs in town, like who fits that bill, who doesn't, like how are we measuring that? But I don't think it's an awful idea, but I just think there's a lot of.
And I mean, thank you. There's work to be done on that, setting up that type of model, if that's the will of council to move forward. I too, in turn, would support the one-time funding. I don't think I would support the ask of the 25,000.
Yeah, I think that the one time is what they need, especially for their project. Like, they don't have it, the money, and they need it, and they're working towards it, and they have a substantial revenue that does come in. So yeah, I'm looking at the one time $10,000 from the reserves is what I'm really hoping for.
Evelyn?
I can answer, hello, thank you. It was a tough meeting this morning. Now I feel like I'm walking into a tough agenda item. The county will not be giving them any money. That is because during their delegation, they learned that the golf club has $21,000 in bad debt, as in members owing the golf club money. That has not been collected. We are numbers. We also learned that the taxes have not been filed for the last 3 years, so a lot of it is fines for not filing their taxes for the last 3 years. So based on even more questions that they asked, that is why, and part of this was discussed at the JNM as well. Brought forward. So I'm going to suggest the exact opposite of what you're discussing. I don't believe we should be giving them $10,000 in cash and a grant. And if we did want to pursue that, I think that there are certain parameters that have to be set up at the golf club before we do that. Because part of their financial issues have more than what I heard via Zoom than what was discussed. I have also attended the AGMs for the last 3 years, so I am aware of those items. At the last AGM that I attended, they discussed not increasing membership prices, and they decided not to. So none of their prices have been increased. If I had been here earlier with the delegation, that was one of the questions that I wanted to ask, is because they also have an opportunity to increase their prices. There wasn't, again, unfortunately, I missed the delegation, so they had an opportunity they do have an opportunity to increase prices, and they've chosen not to.
No. So I don't know if you caught what I was saying when you were on your way in, which was that, like supporting their request to help with the rooftop air, like a one-time project. So it would be directed towards a project. I think they have, like I said, I think they have some big issues that they need to work out. And that's kind of what, I just didn't know if you had caught that. I just wanted to update you as you were walking through. Evelyn?
Okay, and respectfully, I did hear that.
Okay.
That's new information. I mean, that was not brought up at all with this delegation. They came here specifically. It sounded to me like, again, it was an ambiguous ask of $30,000 from the county and town. So again, what, $10,000 from us, $20,000 from the county? I'm not going to confirm for the county because it still has to come back to them, but I can tell you about the comments that were made at joint municipalities, and it pretty much sounded unanimous that the county is going to decline supporting them. So the $30,000 ask now comes fully to us, and what percentage of it that we're going to do. What I heard today was the water, and when you add it, when I looked at the numbers, which is why I was asking for 2022, I am of the exact opposite view of you, in that I do want to help them, but considering what has contributed to their financial, I believe that's up to them to rectify. And I believe that taxpayer money for bad debt and for not filing your taxes is an inappropriate use of taxpayer money to support them that way. But what I would support is considering the water and how much overage I saw from 2024 over 2023, would be, could we not give them a credit on their water account? So that still helps them, but it's not giving cash directly to them. It just means that they have like $3,000 to $4,000 a month for the next year, to which they can use to pay down bills, to do other things as well, because they don't have to pay the town for, because we're giving them a credit.
And do you want to address what we had spoke for here?
Yeah, so I had an issue with the water thing. However, the way that Evelyn has presented it, isn't totally, so I'm not in favor of crediting them for the cost of the water, and that's because I feel like they had a responsibility to know that they were using that water, and they didn't. They had somebody hired who opens their bills, who pays the bills. They didn't catch it. I don't think it's on the town to own that. That being said, that's not a terrible idea. Instead of taking money out of like actual direct money and giving it, I wouldn't want it to be perceived as, because it's the town's responsibility to make sure that you don't have a water leak. I don't want that to be the perception, because I think it opens up a can of worms for future people to come and say, my toilet was running, like I said earlier, and now I have a $600 bill that the town should pay for. However, that's not a bad alternative instead of taking cash out of, that we haven't budgeted for, and we just did finish our budget. Water still costs us money. It is still a budget item, don't get me wrong, but it would be kind of contribute to what Marianne was saying. Also, because it helps monthly. It's not a one-time, it's something that would carry on for the season or a couple of seasons. And so I never really looked at it that way, and like I said, I don't want to take on the responsibility of the water loss that they had, but it's a neat idea for a way to help to contribute to them. Yeah, I'm not totally opposed to that. I kind of like it, actually.
Deborah?
Well, first of all, music to my ears that you say, not a bad idea. So I'm gonna take it and run with it. Because, and thank you, but respecting the fact that I have attended the last 3 AGMs, I have watched and listened to, and also that I did zoom in on the day that they presented to the county, as well as attending the JMM, so I have had 5 different meetings where I've been exposed to their finances. And that is something that I would feel much better about is, because again, I don't think any of us disagree with each other when it comes to, we want to be supportive of the golf course and we want to help them. And they are absolutely correct when you see that they have not come to us for any big asks. However, I do have an issue with giving taxpayer money when I know 2 different items that they as members can take care of themselves, and they can do it by raising their prices and collecting more money that way. They can do it by having more tournaments on weekends and hosting that as well too, because that has been brought up and there's been resistance by the members to host those events because they want to have access to the golf course. And again, balancing out the 2 different items that happen, I do believe that yes, members, you do need to take responsibility for these 2 things that are for members who have not paid their debts. And you need to take responsibility for your taxes not getting filed. And that is something that, yes, you can talk about who's opening the bills and so on. But then it comes to the question of how the board is operating, because we have financials that come before us. So where are their reports? How are they set up? How is the treasurer bringing to them? Because you're even saying it yourself and you go, you're opening up 1 water bill. Where are the alarm bells? So they don't have systems in place that are catching these water bills. They didn't have, the fact that they didn't know for 3 years that their taxes haven't been filed tells me that there is something that is not proper at the board level, that they are getting that information. So I do not want to give them $10,000 cash unless they put in systems that will prevent this from happening in the future.
I agree. I just feel it's messy, confusing. So that's my only, not saying I'm opposed or don't think it's a poor idea. It's just, I feel it's a bit messy for us, and it's really all the same in the big picture. And Mel?
Yeah, the other thing is too, this is maybe that is something that we should consider adding as a actual board. Like reaching out to the golf course to have a member on as one of our boards instead of a volunteer board, and to maybe that will like help all. So that's just something to look at. I did have a question for administration on what that would look like. Is that a difficult thing to do for the utilities?
Can I respectfully interrupt you? Page 41, H. Amendment of leasee's bylaws and membership agreement. The leasee shall amend its corporate bylaws by stating that 1 representative from the leaseor, that would be us, is to be appointed to the board of directors of the leasee, that's them, from time to time, which amendment shall be to the sole and absolute satisfaction of the lessor. So it was already incorporated into the original agreement that goes back when this was signed, is that we have a board position. It's just never been exercised.
I used to attend, but my job had changed and I'm always updated on there, but I think, no?
I think what we mean is like an actual board member that was like you're on the volunteer
Yes.
board. It's not on our list as an actual appoint somebody. It's just a volunteer board. And I think that's what Councillor Copes is saying, is that we need to move it from volunteer to an actual position that if somebody attends, like, so,
It says time to time.
yeah.
It doesn't really say.
Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to finish up with administration. Is it, how does that look with your utilities? That's not a problem, is it? It wouldn't get applied, I don't think, directly to the water, but it would be applied to their utilities. Is that about?
What would that look like?
Why? I'm assuming a credit of a certain amount put on one time and it just keeps coming. Yeah. Monthly, is that tricky or difficult or?
Two of you were at the meeting and Earl was there. So like, remember what Earl suggested?
Cost of water. I think it was her suggestion to just charge the
Right.
cost, not the service charges.
Well,
Yeah, I just really want to be careful because I'm not in favor of whatever they charge for water. I don't want it to have anything to do with water. I am comfortable with helping them out and applying it this way, but I am not comfortable with it being because there was a water leak and saying to write off the water. If we had our own wells like we used to, whatever, no big deal, but we paid for that water and taxpayers paid for that water. So no, I am not in favor, I just want to be very clear, I'm not in favor of writing off, water. That is just a donation back. I am in favor of contributing to the golf course in a certain amount towards their utility bill, if that's the way we want to do it. But I just want to be very adamant that has nothing to do with cost of water or water leaks or anything of that nature.
Marianne?
And thank you. So I somewhat agree, and I'm not sure if you had already left, but it was discussed at joint municipality that the charges could be written off by the municipality, which is kind of saying the same thing but different. So my question then to admin is, based on the letter we received from Mr. Tyler Porch on page, but he had inferred that it was approximately $18,000 for the water. Is that an accurate assessment from administration that that was what would have been, had it been caught in time, like an overpayment, or? Is that number accurate? That's my question. And that's on page 37, middle of the page.
I'm gonna call in Tamara to discuss, but the water consumption was definitely higher last year than previous years. The consumption had increased.
Yeah, where I'm going with this is if we can determine the amount first, I think we can land on what the town can balance in terms of a one-time funding, you know?
Yeah, this is their
To do with water.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
I
they
agree.
did use water. This isn't all.
That's
water
not, that's just based on
loss.
consumption.
So
The
this-
the best thing you could clarify that is to add up last year, the 23s, and minus it from the 24s. But I mean, there's dry season considerations, there's lots to, I feel very much the same with Councilor Morton, that it should not, our decision should not be based on the water. Because it's happened to other clients, and if we start allowing water overages to be covered by the town because of poor management, I don't believe that's in the best interest of the residents. Mel?
I do want to say, though, it's not $18,000. Their consumption maybe in total was $18,000, but in 2023, some of their bills were still $3,000. So it looks like,
Not even.
if that makes
So
a
it's not
difference. it's-
accurate in the letter then. Okay, that's okay.
I can say for sure it's not bad because it doesn't add up to $18,000.
Before we make a motion,
you'd mentioned about the curling rink had a one-time funding of 24,000. And I don't know of anything for the drop-in center. And so the golf course has never come to us. So then you said a number, the 10,000. Can I just ask, how did you get that number?
No, yeah, sorry.
So I didn't base it on the water. I didn't base it on anything. I based it on our town's budget. This is something that came to us after we had done our budget. Originally, when this ask was put out, they didn't have operating to get started. They have operating now. Now their request, in my point of view, is help for capital project. I don't think it's I don't think they won't. I think they really need help with that capital project, and that's strictly what I based it on. And I feel like that's what the town can bear. So it has nothing to do with the golf courses numbers at all. Everyone? Based it on ours.
If this is what you are suggesting that we pursue, then use the motion that we ask them. Because then in that case, this is what we are filing for information. And then perhaps, so maybe the first motion is file this for information. Then the second motion would be to request that they submit a letter request with their ask for, what did you say it was, a furnace?
Air conditioning, rooftop air conditioning.
Rooftop air conditioning. So if that's what you're comfortable with, that we help them with a capital project, then that means that we're filing this and asking them to resubmit, asking for, with their quotes and everything for that capital.
No,
So actually, I had a similar thought. My thought was to file this for information, and instead of asking them for a request, where the motion specifically to contribute $10,000 to replacement of the very specific project, which was the rooftop AC unit. I don't think we needed, I didn't want them to have to come back because it goes on, and they're gonna need to do that project before it gets +30 outside. So yeah, I just thought file this for information and make it very specific so that that money is going towards what exactly we say it's going towards, and that should alleviate some of the other concerns.
So we are doing something similar, capital project for our own building, for our own staff, that we have 2 furnaces that need to be replaced. And we earmarked capital budget money for that, based only if and only if there's a grant that admin is applying for and getting. Should we not do something similar for the golf course, that there's a grant? Or are you saying that this is an emergency situation?
no.
I believe that they would not be able to work in that kitchen without air conditioning. They wouldn't be able to have an open kitchen. I've been in that building last year when it was +30 and the air conditioning wasn't working, because they've been kind of trying to limp it along, and it's unbearable. Like, I don't think anybody could work in there, unfortunately. And they are trying to get some new revenue streams, which includes the kitchen, right? They're hosting steak nights. They had a brunch on Mother's Day. And so I think they're putting up a good effort, and that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. Can you make the motion to file, like for the motion one, that the sound and date accept?
Okay, I'll make a motion to file for information, the presentation delegation by Leo and Bruce for information.
All information. All in favor? Opposed, so carried. Mary Ann, would you like to make the motion, please? Or option one?
Yeah, so okay, so, and so before I make the motion, I'm looking at the initial ask was $25,000. And I would like to increase what Councillor Morton said for 10,000 and cut it in half and go 12,500, so that hopefully with the capital project, they can get the other from the county, and that puts them in a good situation. And I'm gonna frame the motion that way. Said Councillor Grande. I move that the town of Smoky Lake provide financial support for the 2025. Sorry, I'm gonna start again, Carly. I move that the town of Smoky Lake approve to provide funding to the Smoky Lake Golf Course in the amount of $12,500 for financial support for a capital project for rooftop air conditioning to be funded from
Recreation reserve.
the recreation expenses, or do we have a reserve for recreation? Okay. In reference to the delegation from President Bruce Churn and club manager Leo Chapeau-Delaine, and respectfully for the Smoky Lake Golf Club.
Okay. All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Oh, no. Okay. We'll move to 7.2, water service line request. Thank you, Tamara.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for. Let's start the round of discussion on this. So I'm a little confused when I read through the preparation. So thank you, John, for preparing this. I didn't see anything new from when we discussed March 31st.
The
So
addition of the bylaw.
it was handed out on the 31st. So,
One thing I'll note that the heater was put in place for after about 40 minutes. They had water again. So to me, that indicates that it was frozen either above ground or very shallow underground. After that amount of time, the ground itself wouldn't be thawed very deep at all.
yeah, so we talked about this March 31st, and specifically we had asked where was it frozen, before or after the CC? And if I recall, you had replied that you didn't know. Has that changed?
That hasn't changed, but with it being thought out after a relatively short period of time, that would indicate to me that it would either be above ground or shallow underground.
No.
The CC is 5 feet underground. At least, right? 9 feet underground. So if it thawed out with the heater within 45 minutes, it's after the CC, and our bylaw states that is the responsibility of the homeowner. So my position still stands. Again, I feel very sympathetic because of course that's not what you want, especially in a new build, because you want to encourage people in our community to join our community. And it isn't something that is great for sure. And it probably didn't feel very good for them. So I wouldn't be in favor of paying their plumbing bill. I'm glad the town helped out with the heater and stuff. There was talk of compensating for the water, but it was so minimal, right? That's, so my position just hasn't changed.
Marianne?
So yeah, on page 76 of our agenda package, the letter from the homeowner. The second paragraph is, and it's quoting the bylaw, the utility bylaw 0519, that there would be ensure that the water service shall be inspected by the municipality. So, what date was that done?
Whenever it was originally installed. Which I'm not too familiar with. That would be quite some time ago.
So if I may, so based on the information that you're presenting us, this is a one-time thing that'll never happen again because everything was done correctly from the town and I want to support what Councillor Morton said, that we wouldn't vote against our bylaw, so there's no risk to council at this time, that this will not happen again.
Homeowner would have to ensure that their line is insulated underneath, especially a mobile home. In a house, it comes up inside the foundation fairly deep. But they would have to ensure that their piping underneath the trailer is insulated or heated to an adequate level.
But that's the point too. So you said it was inspected, so you made sure it was insulated correctly.
Mel?
Can I just answer? He's talking about the owner's property. You're talking about in this bylaw when the service is inspected and backfilled. This is 9 feet down.
But a new
This has
service.
nothing, a new service, yeah.
Yeah.
So the town can't guarantee that a mobile home's water line is not gonna freeze. That is the homeowner's responsibility. If it was on the town property and it was freezing there, then that would be a town problem, for sure. I might be misunderstanding your question, I'm sorry.
And you're right.
You're wanting to confirm that this was all done
Yeah.
according to our.
I just want to know that we're closing the matter, that it's not gonna happen again.
On
and that-
our side.
Yeah, and that everything's,
Oh,
so where I'm having a visual, I was hoping that we would have an illustration, so maybe an aerial view or a map or something. Here's the trailer, here's the lines, this is where we think it froze, and then we make a motion and move on. I don't see anything to determine making the best recommendation.
I think we have a lot of information here,
I still don't know where it froze.
but there's no exact sign. It's definitely. The best assumption is that it's not at the CC where before that is ours, because it thawed really quickly. So 9 feet, he's assuming, would take longer than 40 minutes to thaw. And I mean, it's anybody's guess between there where it froze. I think there's enough information. I think we can proceed to make a decision. There's not, I don't think there's anything, I guess what I'm saying is I don't think there's anything else that can be brought back to help with the decision because it's all here.
And just,
Like,
yeah,
I'm
so
trying to
just,
be fair. I'm
yeah,
not trying to be
me
combative.
too. And I'm not trying to be combative and I appreciate all the work that has been done. So is there any risk to the town that this is coming back? Because of anything that the town did or did not do correctly? That's all I want to hear. Someone can guarantee me that there's no risk, that everything we installed is,
Up to the town's responsibility, the CC, I can almost guarantee it's not freezing there because it's so deep. It's 9 feet plus deep. So I can speak to that.
no risk.
I can't say that it won't freeze somewhere underneath the trailer or on the service line again. If it's not insulated, the insulation isn't improved. But I can speak to the town side. Our infrastructure, there's no indication to me that that has any risk of freezing.
So on the town side, there's. No.
if there's no other discussion or comment, I'll make a motion that Town of Smoky Lake take no action on the request to reimburse the property owners located at 4432 Maria Drive East for the water line issues in the amount of $2,217.60 as per bylaw 005-19 In reference to the email from Debbie Arsenal dated February 27th, 2025.
Recorded vote, please.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Melody Morton, Miriam Crosby, Amy Pnuchin, in favor, and Evan Folds, are opposed. All right,
Okay.
that is carried. 7.3, demolition of derelict property located at 13 Willow Creek Street. Crystal, can you give us?
Yeah, so there was a motion to bring this back for discussion. Administration has provided 3 options. We don't know the cost of the demo exactly, what it would cost moving forward. So that's one of the options, to provide quotes for the demo. We could also try to sell the property as is. Now the town is responsible for the maintenance of the yard. That can balance discretion.
So we had a motion to bring back a cost prior.
The motion was to bring back an update on the derelict properties, so
Okay,
there's
well,
no direction.
well, then I would like administration to bring back a quote for if everybody, if the rest of my council's in favor, or if there's any discussion, I think we should get a quote to see what that would cost and start moving forward. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that administration provide quotes for the demolition of the house located at 13 Willow Creek Street to a future meeting of council.
Okay. Any further discussion? I just curious, or not curious, but wondering if we have no plans for it and it's like, is it? No?
Yeah, it's unsafe and it's a super eyesore. So it's unsafe and it's an eyesore, I think, like, if the town
That's the
owns
reason?
it, that's the reason I would like it demolished. I know it costs money, but it looks bad and honestly, it's falling down and it's unsafe and now it belongs to the town. I think for liability reasons, we should have it demolished.
Mary Ann?
So thank you, and I agree with Mayor Amy. So what is our long-term vision? I agree that it does not look aesthetically pleasing, but, and there's a safety concern, but is there anything that could apply to the housing accelerator grant or overall? I think we have temporary ownership. I'm not interested in buying the property. We have it from the auction. That's just my opinion. And then it was appraised, it went for auction at the 62,000 or whatever that was, but the owing is page 99, 12,940, is that correct?
That's the taxes owing to the municipality currently.
Thanks.
And just to be clear, the demolition fee can be added on to what the town would get back. So just so everybody is aware of that, right? Whatever it costs us to demolish it, when the property is sold, then we recoup that cost as well with the tax and utilities. I don't know if that, everybody knew that already.
Well.
I just want to get all the numbers.
All right. Oh, Tamara.
Sorry, I have a question. At some of the other properties that we did don't demolish, we also cleaned up some of the trees. Is that something you guys want me to is the quote or just the house? Just like, it made it easier for the guys cutting grass and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Is that okay? For that in motion too? Yeah, it's clear above the house.
Friendly amendment to my motion for administration to get quotes for the demolition and lot cleanup for 13.
All right, there's no further discussion, all in favor? None opposed, so carried. 7.4 Rogers Telecommunication Tower update. I like the pictures, very clear. Marianne?
I have, thank you for doing all this and preparing that. Thanks, Tamara. So I had asked for the agreement and, I don't see it in the package. And, there's a note that says it was effective on the August 15th, 2023. And it's a 5-year term. So I have some questions about the initial agreement. And which leads me then to, for various reasons, where I'm going with this is I feel that we should have a policy, a telecommunication tower policy, because I know everything goes through the federal government, but we dealt with company one, so company two could come in and say to a private owner that they're gonna put up a tower, and the municipality doesn't have anything in place to criteria or guidelines or design. So I think as a municipality, we need to develop a policy that speaks to that. And some of the information could be in the agreement. So I'm not sure if I ask at this time if council would support a motion to defer it to the next meeting with the agreement.
Crystal?
So administration can provide the agreement, sorry, it wasn't in the RFA, but it says confidential in there. So we cannot publicly put the agreement out there as per the telecommunications agreement. So it's confidential, so we could go into close to review it as per section 16, third party.
I don't know if I may, so I don't know if that's not where I'm going with this, but thank you. There's safer example, in 5 years, the agreement is at the end of its life cycle, and the tower goes dormant. Who disbands the tower? Who takes the fence down? Who replaces everything and turns it back to what it is today? So those are things that might be covered in the agreement, and there's been some change, and I guess I just want to make sure that we have everything in place.
Yeah.
Good question. Why don't you just make a motion to bring it back to the closed session to our next meeting? Sounds
With
fair.
that information.
Yeah.
Evelyn?
2 things. One, I think we should stop calling it the Rogers Telecommunications Tower because it's no longer belongs to Rogers sold it. So what is it? It was Blackwood. I can't remember the name off the top of my head. Redwood. So I got the wrong color. Redwood. Okay, so it's Redwood. So from now on, we got to refer to it as the Redwood Telecommunications Tower. And the one thing that it could be too late, but I really would like to investigate this. And that is, I recall when we were in closed session years ago looking at it, that there was the option of not having a barbed wire fence around it. So was disappointed when I saw this, that I see that there was a barbed wire fence, but I know that we probably did not request it or make that part of the agreement
Chain link fence.
with barbed wire.
On the top,
Oh, yeah.
For
on the
safety.
top, for
so you don't
safety.
climb over.
Well, that is something that, again, I remember reading that we could have the option of not having that. So if we had an aesthetic option, probably would have been maybe this is probably the cheapest option, whereas we had another option, so that is something that I'd like to look into as well. Knowing that it's probably too late, it probably should have been done when the agreement was signed, but we're dealing with somebody different right now.
So I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to defer not to be disrespectful, Councillor Coach, but right now it's in our agenda packages with Rogers Telecommunication Tower. So I'm going to defer that to the June 2nd meeting to bring back the agreement to be discussed in closed session and
Regarding the reclamation.
We'll just review the agreement and see where we'll go from there, and to change the name of the tower to the Red Path or no.
To the new name,
To the new
it
name.
might have a few extra words. Thank you. Okay. All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And we'll move to 7.5, amended 2025 operating budget. Crystal?
Yes. Administration made an error in the Smoky Lake Seniors requisition. So I would ask council to amend the 2025 operating budget to reallocate the $1,000 that was in error, with no change to the overall total budget.
Let someone put the motion on the table. This for Evelyn, sorry.
And I'll make the motion, but I just want to ask, where are you getting reallocating the $1,000 from?
I believe I show it in the next page after the RFD. General revenue, the interest coming in, I amended that, and the CAO recruitment, I took it out as an expense, I decreased it.
So there's now a decrease of $1,000. What did you call it? General revenue?
The interest income
Interest income?
for the estimate, and then I lowered the expense in CAO recruitment.
Lowered expense with CAO equipment. Recruitment by how much?
1,000.
Oh. See what you're saying. Yeah. I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake amend the 2025 operating budget to reallocate $1,000 within the original budget to change the seniors requisition to $71,055 from $70,055 with no change to the overall total budget.
Any further discussion? Not all. Question, all in favor? None opposed, so carried. New business, 8.1, Chief Administrative Officer job description.
Angela Duncan had recommended council approve the CAO job description as presented.
Mel?
I'll make the motion that the town of Smoky Lake approve the chief administrative officer job description as presented, and administration advertise the posting on the municipal website and social media platforms in reference to the email sent by Angela Duncan, Municipal Rising Tides dated May 7th, 2025.
Marianne?
Just a friendly amendment, if you'd accept that as well, because you indicated the job description and the following page, the job posting.
Yep. Friendly amendment, job description and job posting.
Thank you. Any discussion, I guess, because we've reviewed it. I don't know what maybe we'd be too quick. All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Joint municipalities meeting action item was set bridge repair. Marianne?
I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake send a letter to Mr. Glenn Van Dyken, MLA for the Athabasca, Barhead and Westlock constituency, addressing safety concerns about the incomplete repairs on the bridge located on Highway 831, as well as the reduced speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour.
Any discussion? All in favor? None opposed, so carried. 8.3, thank you letter for ACP grant, Regional Economic Development Highway Corridor Project Plan. Evelyn?
Okay, I just wanted to say that I was surprised to see a draft thank you letter because when I added it to the agenda, it was just for council to approve with. To rate them.
It's coming.
So we had not had that approval yet. So that's what it was just to ask council if they would approve it. Secondly, but thank you for going ahead and doing it because I would hope this was a discussion point already at my morning meeting as well. So you erred on the fact that believing that we would approve the thank you letter. The one thing that I want to point out about the thank you letter is it is actually to someone very specific. It is this letter right here. And it comes from Rick McGiver, and there's all of these CCs on the back as well. So edits that I would like to make to it is, I would like the specific amount, $200,000, to be included in the letter. I would like it addressed to Rick McGiver, minister, because he's the one that wrote us the original letter. And when it comes to all of the CCs, I would like everybody was included in the original letter to get a copy of the thank you as well.
So what would you like a motion, just with, few changes?
Amendments?
It's your turn, you have to make the motion, so you could add those.
I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake as managing partner send a thank you letter to the Alberta Community Partnership, or, okay, I'm gonna choose that. The Town of Smoky Lake as managing partner send a thank you letter to Minister Rick McGiver as amended for the funding of the project, Regional Economic Development, Highway Corridor Concept Plan, and carbon copy, all originals as amended.
And the inclusion of the 200,000.
Right, it did, I said a generic amendment.
All in favor? And opposed or carried. 8.4, local improvement plan for paving 53rd Avenue.
So in the 2025 capital budget that was approved, we have the 53rd Avenue paving. The amount of estimated 120,000, 72,000 will be a local improvement plan due to the location of the road portion that's residents are the main users of that road for a 2-inch overlay. So the first step for that is a local improvement plan that council amends or approves. And then from there, it'll go to notifying the residents. And then they have 30 days and they can do a petition. And if not, then the project follows through and we do a local improvement tax and we're in bylaw for 72,000 plus interest. So in front of you today is the plan. Tamara, if you have anything to add on which direction you went?
I based it on the frontage and I just kind of did to make it more fair because of the one property kind of curves. So it would cover a lot more. I just did right across the middle of the property lots, just to make it a bit more fair.
And there's 3 properties that the town owns as well that are included. You're not exempt.
And thank you, Tamara, for preparing all that. I'm probably not going to support this motion, and yes, I do know that this is the way that we should be doing things, but so on page 122, motion 297, on June 10th, we made a motion. And on the action list, it said it was in progress. So of particular note in this motion that administration would provide the information to a future meeting. Did we ever have anything done to assess the condition of the asphalt, or we knew that it couldn't be chip repaired or saved, I guess? So I'm looking for what meeting we had a motion to come up with the project total of $120,000.
No?
Or if John wants to go ahead.
Oh, John.
Just contract asphalt companies, check the area, That's kind of where we got that budget amount, and it was brought forward in the 2025 capital budget.
Correct me if I'm wrong, so that motion that was made to chip seal, it was brought back, I remember it being brought back to us saying it's not able, we were hoping it was, but it's too far gone. So now we need a 2-inch lift put on it, and then we added it to the capital budget. So I don't know what meeting was that though, but it did come back to us, I'm assuming it was the capital budget meeting.
So, and so here's where I'm going with this. I'm looking for some sort of data so that now we had a report and there was assessed that we need to do this. We missed chip filling it or crack repair. So now we have to pave everything. And we knew we had to do it. That's not the debate. I'm looking where the data is held. Because here's where I'm at with this. Out of the 11 properties, 3 of which are the towns, and if we were to take this money over the period of time, there's been some people on that street are new, so I don't think they'd appreciate having a levy, and they can petition it if it goes through. There's been a lot of resale on that street. 2 of my cousins have sold their homes, and there's new owners, and then there's some long-term people. So I would say to the rest of council, the portion that's the town adds up to quite a significant amount. And out of the other 8 residents, that adds up to the 40,000. Would the town at this time consider not levying 5 months before an election to levy residents to pay more?
Crystal?
Just to let you know, it's not this year. This is not going to be this year. It would be next year. Or until the project is complete. So 15 years.
No.
Yeah, there's never a good time. There's a levy somebody, there's always gonna be, and yeah. The town is bearing a significant cost on it, which I think is also good. So, I am okay with this. I think that, there's one way or another people are gonna pay. So it's frontage or it's on your taxes. So you have 2 ways to pay. You can do each street and everybody pays for what you use, or you can do throughout the town and it goes on everybody's taxes and everybody pays anyways, right? Like in the end, everybody pays. And that's the bottom line, is that if the town pays, that's just everybody, right? That's the entire town.
It benefits that neighborhood, not the.
So, that road is, I don't know if anybody has, they should drive your bike down that road. It's treacherous.
No, Marianne?
Yeah, thank you. And I do walk down there, but
Okay.
there's a lot of streets in town that need some care. We passed Crackville and that's neither here nor there. I'm also concerned that on 51st Street, we had 2 things, the gas leak and the water leak. So I'm not sure where we are on those, if we have a final report or if it's gonna cost us a lot of money looking forward. And that has nothing to do with this, but indirectly it does, because it's money being tied up to go to capital projects.
John?
For 50, that area of 51st and 52nd. I'm gathering some options to bring forward. I don't know, it'll be up to you what's the scope of what you'd like to do there. I just had the camera or the sewer camera inspected on one of those streets to see if a relining option would be appropriate, which is more cost efficient than replacing and excavating everything and replacing everything.
Crystal? Did you have something to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to add that this has been approved and is in the capital budget right now. That's where we're going.
And that's why
This is the next step.
Yeah. It's never ideal for the residents that live there, but it's.
And the interest rate is higher than I would like to see.
Well,
Even if this is approved today, if the interest rates change, though it will change,
Yes.
right? Like this
And then-
isn't set in stone.
If the project comes in lower, that is the, right, that's the cost that we go with. It's
Right.
120 is the estimate.
well,
I know. There's nothing, it's never good and it doesn't feel good. I was dreading this. I always dread these ones. But like I said, everybody's got it. It comes out of the tax, right? So I think that we should, my recommendation and what I'd like to support today is to move forward and see what comes back. You know, in the past, we put something out and
That's
it
right.
came back. And then there was discussions and options that came forward that ended up working out better.
Mhm.
You know, so I think this is like a first step and I think it's I think we should look at it. Doesn't mean it can't change,
That's
for sure.
true. Crystal?
Administration also did the calculations for assessment, but it looks worse, so we went with the frontage. So we did look at some options to see what the best option would be.
All right. Evelyn?
I'll put my name on it. That I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake adopt. I've already skewed towards the thinking, sorry. There we go. I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake approve the proposed local improvement plan for 53 Avenue from 46th Street to a portion of 52 Avenue in the total estimated amount of $120,000. Each individual parcel owner's tax rate would be based on the frontage in linear meters, estimated at $214.80 per linear meter, with the funding formula as follows. And do I actually have to? Okay, plan funding, estimated total project cost, $120,000, 100%, less MSI grant funding, negative $48,000, that's 40%, debenture, loan for 15 years, $72,000, which is 60%, interest rate estimated at 4.02%, principal plus estimated interest, $96,576.60. Personal owners are responsible for paying 60% of total project cost plus interest.
Any further discussion on this? If not, all in favor? Any opposed?
On a recess.
And that is carried. Yeah, we can take a recess at 2:20.
Well, we
Right, we'll call the meeting back to order at 2:34. And we'll move to 9.1, retroactive municipal tax relief policy. Evelyn?
So I'll make the motion on this after asking this question, but at the last meeting, we had in closed session about help. So I am interested in deferring this until you have bylaw and policy ready help. So there's no update for this meeting on that. Okay, so because this policy has a lot of errors in it. It was copied from another municipality and the edits that have been made to it. It would have been better just to almost directly copy it from the municipality that it was copied from, because the edits that have been made to it, the first three definitions are incorrect. And there's also a section in there where between 3 and 4 where somebody I'll just put it this way, I'm not gonna approve this policy for today. It's clearly still in its draft form. It hasn't been properly edited. So, but knowing the status right now, we don't have a municipal intern and we don't have a CAO. So there is no one really on staff right now until we hire somebody who could properly write or edit our bylaws and policies, correct? Or how?
At the moment, we're busy. It's just a busy time of year with everything going on. But this could definitely be brought back, looked at, reviewed, and brought back. Again,
Because if we're looking at a higher date of, sorry, Chair, if we're looking at a higher date for a new CAO, whatever that CAO looks, then that's July, so we're just talking about deferring this until August, correct?
yeah, not a long time. I don't want to give a date, but the latest say August.
I think that's a good idea. Evelyn?
Because the three things that we're supposed to be doing are bylaws, policies, and budget. We're still in budget, correct, mode, so.
Budget, taxes, audit, it's kind of.
So-
And
Council has to be realistic about the fact that considering all the different staff changes and so on, when it comes to policies and bylaws, it's probably best. We can ask for new ones, but we know that they're gonna be not brought back right away until we have some help in the office, right? So, okay. So do you want me to put a month on this or just say generically defer? Okay. So I'm gonna make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake defer the retroactive municipal tax relief policy A 05/2025 until the March meeting.
March.
Did I just say March?
Next year.
it said March.
March. March 22nd, when I'm no longer. Yeah, no, until the August 2025. Okay, council meeting.
Okay, all in favor? No opposed, so carried. We'll move to 9.2, tax rate bylaw.
Now that the budget has been passed, we need to pass a tax rate bylaw.
No.
I'm gonna make the motion, Town of Smoky Lake give first reading to the bylaw number 11-2025, being the tax rate bylaw for the purpose of authorizing rates and taxations to be levied against accessible properties within the Town of Smoky Lake for 2025 taxation year.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Marianne?
Just a bit of discussion here. So, and if you could walk me through it, where were the increases and what is compared to the mill rate from last year? Or decreases?
First, we grab Tamara, but the municipal portion was passed in the operating budget, and then the requisitions are also included in the operating budget. So that's included in here. Seniors, fiscal. The policing is included with the municipal portion. So I don't. This all stems from the operating budget.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I didn't compare it to last year, but where are the increases and the decreases of the mill rates?
So you guys increased your budget 2%. That's based into our general mill rate. It does include the policing mill rate, which is 50-some thousand, sorry, I don't know the exact number. So that's included in that actual general municipal tax. So it did, because the assessment increased a bit, then the rate did decrease a little bit for general taxes. Yeah, the rest of the taxes kind of, all the education taxes and everything kind of increased.
Okay. So 1 mil is how much? For the mill rate? That's what we're approving, right?
Per thousand, yeah. Are you wanting to know what,
Are we increased over last year by the
like the mill rate or?
mill rate? I think it went down in farmland, but we've never really reviewed this, so.
Usually it's just, I get your guys' budget numbers and then I make the bylaw. That's how it. You guys approve the budget, which again is what the increase was. You guys increased your operating budget by 2%. So I did include that in there. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I was just to look at last year's. Okay, so for residential, this year, the total for, do you want just general or the total per residential? Or are you just wanting like our general municipal tax?
Sure, just the general.
Okay, so this does include policing. Is the 8.884 068, sorry, 78.
That's on page 138.
Yeah, so that's for this year. And then for last year, it was 9.0469.
Decrease.
Yeah, decrease,
Is the assessment went up?
because the assessment went up. You want like all of them? like,
No, you know what, I can just look up the bylaw from last year.
Have it here, but no.
That's okay. I'm gonna go ahead and give the second reading to if I.
Mary Ann, yes.
I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake gives second reading to bylaw number 11, 2025, being the tax rate bylaw for the purpose of authorizing the rates of taxation to be levied against accessible property within the town of Smoky Lake for the 2025 taxation year.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried.
I'm sorry, do you need a list? Nope.
Make a motion that town of Smoky Lake give permission for the third and final reading. The bylaw number 11-2025, being the tax rate bylaw for the purpose of authorizing rates of taxation to be levied against accessible property within the town of Smoky Lake for the 2025 taxation year.
All in favor? Carried unanimously. And the third reading, Mel?
Make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake give third and final reading to bylaw number 11-2025, being the tax rate bylaw for the purpose of authorizing rates of taxation to be levied against accessible properties within the town of Smoky Lake for 2025 taxation year.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried.
I've got a busy week ahead of me, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
I just have a quick question. It, a little off topic, if there's a mail strike, are we prepared?
I'm hoping to have them out tomorrow.
Okay,
Yeah, we're prepared.
If not tomorrow, then Wednesday morning.
cool.
So-
Thanks for
Yes,
the
that's why I
update.
was like,
Bye.
May 22nd, right?
Yep.
10.1 Mayor, Councilor, and Committee report.
Sabine?
Marianne?
I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake accept for information the mayor, councillor, and committee report items A through F as follows. Councillor Cobes, April to May 2025, Mayor Chernichen, March to April 2025, joint municipalities, April 28, 2025. Meeting action list, Evergreen Regional Waste Management Services Commission, April 17th, 2025 meeting agenda. And then following the meeting, same thing, Evergreen Regional Waste Management Services Commission, March 20th, 2024, which I think is a misprint.
Yep.
2025 then corrected to meeting minutes. And then Evergreen Regional Waste Management Services Commission audit findings.
Discussion? Evelyn?
Just want to follow up with admin conversation that took place this morning at Northeast Muni Corp. Do you notice that you weren't receiving emails for a while from Northeast Muni Corp and now they've resumed? Because, so that you could get this kind of information?
I did receive an email. I don't know if it was going to the CAO previously.
The reason I'm asking is because someone else asked the question at the last meeting, they investigated it, and yes, there's something wrong with that, so. Just, have you noticed, and it actually affected you, it affected all in CAO email accounts and admin, so if you could just kind of follow up on Northeast Muni Corp.
We got one today.
Okay, yeah, and that's probably why.
Yes.
All right. Others, then all in favor? Opposed, so carried. We'll move to correspondence requiring action, ATCO Electric 2024 annual franchise report. Evelyn?
Okay, I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake acknowledge receipt of the ATCO Electric 2024 franchise report in reference to the letter and report from Jen Layden, Customer Service Representative at ATCO dated April 22nd, 2025.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Buffalo Lake Métis Settlement Pro Rodeo Opening Ceremony Invitation. Mel?
Okay. I'd like to make a motion, Town of Smoky Lake approve Mayor Chernichen to attend the Gateway to the North Annual Pro Rodeo Opening Ceremonies at Buffalo Lake Métis Settlement on Friday, May 23rd, 2025 at 5 p.m. in reference to a letter from Stan DeLorme, Chairman of the Buffalo Lake Métis Settlement dated March 17th, 2025.
Marianne?
I have just a little bit of discussion around this. I have a couple questions. Has the town ever received a request for any type of sponsorship? I know that in the letter from Mr. DeLorme, it identifies how important it is for the Indigenous tourism and I'm wondering if we could get some airtime from the town, if it's something that we would sponsor or and then the other point for clarity is last year we received a request to put up a sign that was just recently came down and then the new sign was put up for this year. So did we receive a letter for that request as well? I wouldn't support having that sign up all year if the event has already taken place, right?
I don't think the sign is on our.
I was gonna say, I think it's on private property.
They asked for it to be on our property and then I can't remember what happened, but then they went across the highway.
Yeah, I thought this happened.
But it was brought forward here. And so what you're saying is we declined it.
No, I don't think we even answered. No, right?
Yeah, I think it became a non-topic because they
Yeah.
actually chose to put it across. I think there was some concerns about visibility and where it was gonna be, and then they had just decided, so I don't think the request did come,
Yeah.
but then I think they just chose to put it on the other side.
Pumpkin growth covers, okay.
Yeah, so I think that's what happened.
Mel?
Are you, I just wanted to ask,
Well, that was, I'm just thinking, if I'm not able to attend, like I'd like to attend. But if there's something, can I appoint the deputy mayor to, or not appoint, but ask if you'd like to go? It's not-
I can just, yeah, I can change it to the mayor, deputy, or designate.
Oh, okay.
But my question was for deputy mayor, were you thinking like we should take some swag or something to represent the town?
I don't know what.
They didn't have a request for
Yeah.
anything, but maybe that would be a nice, whoever the designate is, to take a little
Yeah.
swag on behalf of the town.
I went last,
Some compliment.
an opportunity for that, like,
Yeah, it says specifics around the opening ceremony, so.
I didn't participate in that work, like I had talked to Stan prior to going and stuff, but I was not a part of the ceremony, so maybe it's different this year. Evelyn?
I think it's a lovely suggestion, but I don't recall seeing anything that, where there was, which is why there's no request for swag, so.
Just let it be.
I think in this, I'm gonna say, let's suggest we can let it be, and then Mayor Chernichen or her designate can scope it out for potentially next year, but I really don't, I've been to it myself and I don't recall it being a necessary addition.
Okay, good, I thought that last year too.
Yeah.
Then my motion will just have the friendly amendment to have Mayor Chernichen or designate.
Okay, thank you. All right, all in favor? None opposed, so carried. And we'll move to 11.3, save the date, Northeast Minnetonka Iron Horse Trail Ride. Marianne?
So, probably not gonna have any friends in the room, but, I wouldn't be in favor of supporting this event because, yeah, and that's, we did, last year we made concessions and some of the counselors didn't attend. So how, if I was to ask the member that is with, Municorp, although it's to all council, is this really important that we're looking at attending this event and changing the council date, or?
Okay, so, Evan?
So we would have to change, okay, so you're saying that you looked and we have a council meeting on that date? Okay. So yes, if we approve it, or as a council approved event, the invite goes out to everybody on council to participate in this. So that it's our way of encouraging all of our councils across 10 municipalities to experience the trail. Because sometimes that's one of the reasons why we felt it was very important to do this annual trail ride. We have just even commented this morning that because we have taken the time to go along the trail, that now we have as a board, we have a much better idea about, there's one repair that we did. And we all looked at that repair just a couple months ago, so, I actually am a huge supporter of all of you participating in this event, because I think it gives you a new appreciation why we have a board, why we belong to it, why Travel Alberta has designated it as the gem of Lakeland, travel Lakeland tourism. And also that is why we're opening it up, but also offering so that if you don't like to be on an ATV, you can actually try a horse and carriage, or you can try an electric bike. And it's so, I think it's, and I would be supportive of this because I would think that it was all four of us should do attend this, but I doubt I made a very convincing argument. Not sweet.
Mel?
You did make a convincing, I agreed with everything you said. I just don't think we can change our council meeting. But I honestly, because once you ride the trail, then you do see the value. Once you see the trail, I ride it all the time. And I do see the value in it, huge. And the people that you meet along that trail and they're from everywhere. And so all of those things, I do see the value in it. Unfortunately, do you think they want to change the date of their trail? Right? Would that be hard to change every other municipality's world? That is the only reason. I am in support of it normally, but the date is a problem, so. That's the only reason I wouldn't support it, because everything else that you said I do. The value in the board, the value in the trail, the tourism, I agree with 100% of all of those things. I guess it is a question. Is there an appetite for them to at all change that date? August is a tough one because there's a long weekend, but. Would it be something, because I do support those things. I just was wondering if maybe they would be able. Evelyn?
Sure, I'm gonna go back to my board and I'm gonna say, I can't come, so unless you change the date. So that I can join you, like for the party, then, well, yeah, so I mean, if that's your that's gonna be the motion, that's gonna be the motion.
I would be willing to support a motion to make it a council approved event if it was on a non-council day for sure. So I'll go ahead and make that motion and maybe we can ask, maybe it is an option, maybe there's other people that aren't available that day as well. I don't know, what that motion, I'll make a motion the town of Smoky Lake.
Approve it as a council.
Make it a council approved event if they are able to change the date from a non-council meeting to a non-council meeting day.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah, it sounds fortunate.
Mhm.
All in favor? None opposed.
May I ask why her original email is not attached? Why is it cut and pasted into the RFD? That the previous one is the, like. And I noticed that with others as well too, because this isn't her original email, this is a cut and paste into. So I'm just wondering why that is.
Oh, because it was one page. So like if it's a small. Okay, if it's a small email, I just cut and paste into the background.
It's all attached into the RFD. It's kind of nice to have one document. That's kind of what we used to attach everything before previously. So we're kind of cleaning it up.
Marianne?
Yeah, and thank you. I noticed that too. What I appreciate in what admin does, so thank you, I noticed that too, Evelyn. But I appreciate when admin prepares that, and it might not be, like, you might not always have time, but when we look at the budget implications, so something like this, if it's all council approved to go on it, it does impact my decision. Even maybe the last one, like going to Buffalo Lake. So if it's council approved, I'd like to see the budget implications as well moving forward. And I know that time's not always on your side, but if that's a consideration of admin, that would be great. If not, I know you do the best you can, so thank you. It is helpful in our decisions.
I've never charged for going to Buffalo Lake, just so you know.
Okay.
You know,
And I wasn't implying, I just thought sometimes just.
that would feel weird, but.
Okay, sorry.
Each to their own. Everybody's, now did we call the question or did?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're on the next one, all right.
Yeah.
Rodeo, Smoky Lake Family Rodeo sponsorship request. Marianne?
So I'd like to move that the town of Smoky Lake support the Smoky Lake Riding Club and provide a monetary sponsorship of $300 towards the Smoky Lake Family Rodeo taking place on June 1st, 2025, to be funded from the 2025 operating budget entitled Grants to Individuals and Organizations in reference to the letter from Christina Vanderwall, sent on behalf of the Smoky Lake Riding Club, received April 22nd, 2025.
Mel?
So I have a question. This isn't the Stampede, right? You know that this is a different.
The children's rodeo.
Yeah, okay. I just seen the previous motions and they're different. They're in regards to the wrong motions. I just wanted to update that, you guys on that, because usually for the rodeo, we give the $300. And so, yeah, the one in 23 was.
Yeah, this one.
Carly?
Yeah.
This is the first year that they actually asked for us. So I just put relevant motions.
We got the other one.
Mel?
We
Okay.
just have a request.
Okay, I actually, like, I kind of heard what Hank was saying in the background, even though he's not supposed to be talking.
Yeah, yeah.
That- No, I heard that you said the rodeo would be requesting funds. Then I am okay with this motion. If they were gonna request funds, I'm just gonna change it, so I'm comfortable with that now.
Oh, I see what you're saying, okay, different.
Would have been two requests, yeah.
Yeah. All right, any other questions? No discussion? All right, all in favor? None opposed or carried. And then, Fellas 4-H beef and poultry club sponsorship requests. Sponsorship, Evelyn?
I'll make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake provides sponsorship in the amount of $200 for the corporate sponsor package to the Bellis 4-H Beef and Poultry Club for their 4-H Beef Club Achievement Day show and sale on Monday, June 9th, 2025 at Wasetna Arena to be funded from the 2025 operating budget entitled Grants to Individuals, Organizations in reference to the letter from Sheldon and Donna Chernichen, board members of Bellis 4-H Club, received April 24th, 2025.
Any discussion? Marianne?
So for the discussion, is this a new request or, because I don't see any previous motions on this?
Fellas?
Crystal? Is this a previous request? There's no motion.
Fellas?
I don't know if you had any from, Carly.
This is a new request.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Mel?
Yeah, I am having a very difficult time. I want to support all of everything. But we're talking about, Bellis is very active for 4-H club, by the way, which is great. But we're talking about a Bellis 4-H club that's hosting their event with SEPA. Asking the town of Smoky Lake for a sponsorship. I just have to be a little bit of the devil's advocate here. In what and who we would like to sponsor. I am a very big advocate though of 4-H, so I think it's a really good idea. So I just wanted to have the discussion, that's all.
Evelyn?
What does our policy say on this?
And I knew I was
And that
gonna get
is-
that
That is
reaction.
not a genuine question, or sorry, that is a genuine question, but I already know the answer to my question when I say that. That is exactly why we need a policy when it comes to this, which I've advocated for before, and I think we should be, and again, I know we don't have really anyone, we just got through saying we're gonna defer policies and bylaws, but you should not have to be the devil and question it and so on. This should be something that is done even in a committee of the whole, or like, so that there's gonna be open discussion, that we decide who it is that we allocate money to and who we don't. I think that definitely this is an argument for why it needs to be in policies.
No?
And I agree and disagree. I agree and disagree, because I do agree. I just don't think that we could ever agree what's gonna be in the policy. Is where I think we're gonna run into a problem, because I can be sometimes I really like things to be clear cut, and I know I do lean that way a lot. I am just wondering where the limit is on Smoky Lake taxpayers' money, if it's something that we think we should keep within our community. If this was being hosted in Smoky Lake, I wouldn't have any debate about this whatsoever. I would for sure support it. Whether it now it's a Bellis 4-H club being hosted in another.
So I kind of foreshadowed this question's coming, and I was meant to send out the policy with the agenda. I forgot, but we do have a policy. It's contributions to nonprofits, organizations, individuals. And the guidelines do say, teams or recreational clubs that will be, oh, no hand.
Yeah, we do have a policy.
Yeah, it's nonprofit organizations not based within the Smoky Lake region that benefit the town in some way. Then it says under the statement, all donation requests will be presented to the town Smoky Lake Council and will be considered on its own merit basis on the town's previous contributions to that nonprofit organization and their relativeness to the Smoky Lake region at the decision of council.
There you go.
So, I see where you're going with this, and I have to say that there's probably data that says families from Smoky Lake participate at the Bellas 4-H, just because they're not limited geographically to living in Bellas and having it in Wasetta, they still are part of the 4-H program, so. Yeah, you can have a cow, or just because you live in town, you can still have a cow. Chicken.
Can't have one in town, you can have a chicken in town.
You can go to Bob Angulo's,
Yeah.
and they have a cow.
I see where Councilwoman's coming from, but I do feel that I think it can benefit us in the long run. Because I'm sure there's Bubs and Guidos that go to this. No?
And I will support the motion. I think 4-H is like, well, it has so many benefits. I am in support of the motion. I just wanted to have that discussion about where do we draw the line? That's all.
Evelyn?
Well, I'm disappointed to hear that, because I was gonna call for a recorded vote so we could have Counselor Morton on the record. Being the baddie, but so now that you've changed your mind, so it's a little bit of joy just got taken away from what I was saying. But also, yeah, I think that actually the policy needs to be reviewed again for that exact reason. And if I may, that is what, even just including that section in here, in the future to admin when it comes to, we've had a couple meetings where we include the bylaw, include the policy. And I don't think necessarily we need to have the entire thing, but even just having the section. And I remember that already in the first year that I was on council, that was often presented. So thank you for being ready for it. Okay.
All right, who's trying? Oh, Evelyn?
I made the motion.
She made the motion,
You
it's
read
really
it? Okay,
I
recommendation.
just have to call.
Sorry, okay. All in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right, we'll move to 11. Oh, were you opposed?
No.
Oh, I thought I missed the opposed. Sorry, okay.
If she was opposed, I would have called recorded vote.
Well, I know, it's- I just was not listening, but I thought, oh no, did I miss it? 11.6 Smoky Lake All-Star Archery Team Sponsorship request. And did it, Evelyn? Is it-
Yeah, I mean, I know we're supposed to put a motion on the table before we start discussion, but I was actually a little surprised to see we did not sponsor them at all last year. Like, this is the first time that they're asking.
They asked.
Do. Or did we get, when? Not.
So I don't believe they asked last year.
They didn't go south of that.
Yeah.
They went.
So, however, this is like a very, I'm in favor of the recommendation. And if anybody wants to come out and put a pie in my face, I have also signed up to, they're having a spaghetti supper. Yeah, you may want to come, Rochelle. Put your money out there. I think it puts Smoky Lake on the map. I think this is a really impressive thing that our young people have done. So I would like to make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake, sorry, did you want to say something first?
Evelyn,
It's an interesting amount. Why 1,100? That's my question.
is this a certain amount per child?
I just put $100 per
100.
child for
11 children.
11 archers.
Yeah.
Okay.
11 children are 100 each.
Okay, Mel?
Okay, then I'll make a motion that the town of Smoky Lake
Councilor
approve
Gravel.
monetary sponsorship in the 11 archers of the 2025 Smoky Lake All-Star Archery Team selected to represent Canada on the 32-member Canadian, this is
32 member Canadian.
selected to represent Canada on the 32-member Canadian National Archery in the Schools Program, NASP All-Star Team, in the amount of $1,100 for their participation at the international tournament taking place in Namibia from July 24th to 27th, 2025, in the reference to the letter from Jerry Lynn Turco on behalf of the Smoky Lake All-Star Archery Team and Dave Pawlowski, Chairman of the 2025 Canadian NASP All-Star Team, received April 23rd, 2025. All right.
Any other questions? Discussion? All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Okay, correspondence on files or information.
So it's like old times day.
I'd like to make a motion, the town of Smoky Lake file for information, the correspondence items A to E as follows. MNP Community-Based Policy Study, letter of congratulations to Pat Polchek, letter of congratulations to Penny Fox, letter of congratulations to the town of St. Paul.
What's he?
Sorry, I'm just kidding, I only want it from A to D.
Setting up for failure.
You're really making me fail here, man.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Last minute additions, 13.1, Horse Fight Fair. Marianne?
Yeah. Harvey, thank you for getting all this prepared and handing this out. And so then I see it's a team of the 4 people on the last page that are Charmaine and Valerie, Michelle and Jolene. And so I think I'm going to support the recommendation somewhat and just maybe cut it in half. It's a new request as well, and based on the 4-H previous, we had some discussions, so I think they need our help, and I'm a Horse Fight girl, but I'm gonna change it to $100, so I'd like to move at this time that the town of Smoky Lake sponsor the first annual Horse Fight Country Fair to be held on June 14th, 2025 in Horse Fight, Alberta, with a monetary donation of $100 to be funded from the interim 2025 operating budget, which now is passed. So the 2025 operating budget entitled grants to individuals and organizations in reference to the last minute addition that our legislative services clerk, Carly Orchowski, provided us, received from the Horse Fight Foundation on March 23rd, 2025. We had the original request.
I'm a little disappointed in the half. $100 isn't too much these days. Well, but
You want me to sway you or?
no, I'm wanting to sway you that.
So here's where I'm going with this. 4-H has a proven track record before H's of heart health. I forget what they are. This is a first initial request. The foundation itself has just started, so I think that there's opportunity to grow it next year and come back with more money. I would have rather had a sponsorship of some sort where we said the town gets this amount for, or gets this exposure for this amount, so that's kind of why I'm justifying it. Like,
I'll call the question. All in favor? Any opposed? And all right, so now we'll move into closed session. And we get the motion to go into closed session.
Oh, sorry. First item doesn't actually need to.
Oh, yeah, we need to.
Yes.
Sorry, Carly,
Like, so do you read this or no? Crystal?
We're just informed that there's still resumes that might come in to be a coordinator after this meeting, so I don't know if you want to defer it to the next.
Mel?
I have a library meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's fine to wait. I think nobody's going to come to the meeting tomorrow. Right? Like
Oh, like.
I don't think it's
November-
time sensitive, like the meeting's tomorrow, so. I think it can wait if.
So Lise emailed me late Friday and she said, I asked if there was applicants as it's on her agenda, and she said, I have 2 people inquire about the posting. One is coming to our meeting Tuesday to hear more about it and meet the other board members. I invited the other person as well. Hopefully after our meeting on Tuesday, I'll be able to send a letter asking for town council appointment.
So how many applications do we have as of this moment? Because there's 2 board positions.
She said hopefully we can appoint 1 or 2 because we can hold a max of 10.
And there are 8.
So, sorry, you gotta say it again. Everyone's talking, so maybe I've got something in my ears. Maybe that's actually the problem.
Just a comment. I have a point of order, actually. Are we going into closed session or are we just discussing this or what is happening right now?
Mel,
If there's no applicants, we don't need to go into closed session and we can just defer this closed item
Okay, that's.
to our next council meeting, which is what I'm suggesting if Lisa wrote an email saying potentially, right now we have nobody, but potentially there's 2. So let's just wait. Nobody's actually put in an application. I'll make a motion to defer the library board member review to our next council meeting.
all in favor? None opposed, so carried. It will move to 14.2. Okay, she had something.
I can make a motion, the town of Smoky Lake go into closed session to discuss the following matter. Our FP 03-2025, Strategic and Development of Town-Owned Land Pursuant to Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, FOIP Section 16, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party at 318.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. Not opposed?
I'll make that one.
Evelyn, all in favor? None opposed, so carried, and I will get them to finish, make a motion there, Mel?
Make motion that administration bring back to the June 2nd, 2025 council meeting, an update on RFP 03-2025.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried, and I'll get a motion for 14.3, for Evelyn.
I'll make that motion.
Oh, sorry, it's 14.3, we don't skip anymore, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that land purchase request, lot 37, block 12, plan 78-20208, that town of Smoky Lake go into closed session to discuss the following matter. Land purchase request, lot 37, block 12, plan 78-20208 pursuant to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, FOIP, Section 16, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party at 3:29 PM.
All in favor? None opposed or carried? Back to medical. Alright, motion out of closed, Mary Ann,
I'd like to move to come out of closed session at 3:49 PM.
all in favor? None opposed, and then I'll have Mel, you'll make the motions.
Sure, I will. I'm gonna make a motion to defer land purchase request for lot 37 and for administration to bring back more information as stated in closed session.
Okay, all in favor? None opposed, so carried. And we will move to 14.4. Mary Ann,
I'll move to go into closed session. That the town is going to go into closed session to discuss the following matter.
Are you still in executive session or are you making motions?
well, we're going back in. Let the
Okay,
motion
can you
go
open
in.
the door, and let me know when you make a motion then, because it should be made public.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
just, can we go into closed session?
I move that the town of Smoky Lake go into closed session to discuss the following matter. Repurchase of lot 15, block 13, plan 2520079 pursuant to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, FOIP section 16, disclosure harmful to business interests of third party at 3:50 p.m.
And just before you do that, I'm not going outside to find Hank every time we make a motion coming out of closed session, just so everybody is clear.
It's clearly outside.
Okay, all in favor? None opposed, so carried. All right, I'll get a motion to come out of closed.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? None opposed. Oh, so carried, and I will open the door.
Thank you.
All right, Mel,
I'll make a motion that town of Smoky Lake purchase lot 15, block 15, plan 2520079 from Frederick Newell and Joelle Hendren in the amount of $3,400.
all right, all in favor? None opposed, so carried.
Can I just have the friendly amendment that says $3,400, so the purchase of the lots back, and then the minus the land transfer cost?
Yep.
Sorry, is that okay with everybody? Just how it explains it.
Okay, clear.
Shh. Nope.
Okay, 14.5.
Make that motion.
You have to, yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to make the motion that Town of Smoky Lake go into closed session to discuss the following matter. 55 White Earth Street pursuant to the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act, FOIP, section 16, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party at 3:59 p.m.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried.
Call me back when you're making a motion, please. Thanks.
I'll get a motion to come out of closed.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? None opposed, so carried. And the last motion would be. Mel?
I'd like to make the motion that town of Smoky Lake obtain a assessment. Appraisal, assessment and appraisal. For 55 White Street, P1, P2, Block 4, Plan 803CL. And for administration to work with the realtor to start proceedings to put it up for sale.
Right, all in favor? None opposed, so carried, and the meeting is adjourned at 4:17.